Hello everyone and welcome back to Mooching Monkey. Today I'm visiting the beautiful ground of Wallington, a large National Trust estate set in the peaceful Northumberland countryside. While many visitors come to explore the historic house, today I am simply enjoying the grounds, garden and woodland walks, which are just as impressive in their own right. At this time of year there's something extra special to see. The first signs that spring is on its way. The snowdrops are beginning to appear. As you arrive at Wallington, one of the first you will notice is how open and spacious the estates feel. Rolling lawns stretch away from the main house, with mature trees scattered across the landscape and gentle pathways leading off in different directions. Even on a cool day it feels peaceful here. You can hear birds in the trees, the wind moving through the branches, and occasionally the distant sound of water. It's the sort of place that encourages you to slow down rather than rush. The estate itself has a long history. Wallington was once home to the Trevanian family, who lived here for generations before gifting the property to the National Trust in the mid-20th century. Their legacy is not just a grand house, but the extensive grounds and landscape gardens that visitors can enjoy today. Even without stepping inside the house, there's plenty to explore. One of the nicest parts of visiting a estate like this is simply following the paths and seeing where they lead. Here at Wallington, the paths wind through formal gardens, woodland areas and open parkland, each offering slightly different views and atmospheres. At times you walk through quiet wooded sections, where the light filters softly through the trees. Then suddenly the landscape opens up to reveal a wide view across the lawns and the lakes. It's a very relaxing place to walk. Not far from the main house is one of the highlights of the estate, Wallington's Lake. The lake adds a calm centrepiece to the landscape, reflecting the surrounding trees and sky on still days. Walking alongside the water feels particularly peaceful. You'll often see ducks and other waterfowl gliding across the surface or resting near the shoreline. The gentle sound of water and wildlife adds to the tranquil atmosphere that makes the place like this so enjoyable. As winter slowly gives way to spring, something magical begins to happen across the grounds. Small white flowers begin to appear beneath the trees. These are the snowdrops, one of the earliest flowers of the year. These are one of the most common species at Wallington, and this is probably one of the largest collections in the UK. Snowdrops are often seen as a symbol of hope and renewal. They appear at a time when the landscape is still mostly winter-coloured, bare branches, damp soil and muted greens. Yet these delicate flowers push through the ground anyway, bringing the first touches of brightness back to the gardens. When you see the large drifts of snowdrops together, it almost looks like a light dusting of snow across the woodland floor. Walking slowly the gardens, you start to notice them everywhere, under the trees, along the pathways, and scattered across quiet corners of the estate. Because they grow in clusters, some areas almost feel carpeted in white. It's a gentle reminder that spring is getting closer, even though the weather still feels chilly at times. Snowdrops are surprisingly resilient plants. Despite their delicate appearance, they are able to survive cold temperatures and even light snowfall. Their nodding white flowers help protect the pollen inside from harsh weather, which is why they can bloom so early in the year. For gardeners and nature lovers alike, seeing the snowdrops emerge is one of the first signs that the seasons are beginning to change. As I continue exploring the grounds, the mix of landscapes here becomes more noticeable. One moment you're walking through carefully maintained garden areas, the next you're following a path into a wilder wooded section, where nature feels more untouched. This balance between formal design and natural scenery is something the National Trust does very well, and here at Wallington it creates a space that both feels historic and alive with nature. Another nice feature of the estate is simply the variety of walking routes available. You can take gentle strolls around the gardens near the house, or head further out into the parklands or the wooded trails. Some visitors spend hours exploring the wider estate, discovering quiet corners and hidden viewpoints along the way. It's easy to see why this place is so popular with walkers. Even if you're not specifically looking for them, wildlife is never far away. Birds move through the trees overhead, squirrels occasionally dart across the paths, and the lake attracts all sorts of waterfowl. Places like this become small refuges for wildlife, especially in the colder months, when natural food sources can be scarce. It's another reason why early flowers like snowdrops are so important. They provide some of the first nectar sources of the year for insects beginning to emerge. Taking a moment to stop and look around, it's clear to see why estates like Wallington are such special places. They combine history, nature and open space all in one setting. And thanks to the National Trust, these landscapes are preserved for everyone to enjoy. Whether you're here for the gardens, the wildlife, the walking routes, or simply a quiet moment outdoors, there's something quite calming about spending time in places like this. Although I didn't explore the interior of the house today, the grounds alone make the visit worthwhile. Sometimes it's nice to just focus on the outdoor side of these historic estates, taking in the fresh air and natural surroundings. At this time of year, the snowdrops add an extra touch of seasonal beauty. They may be small flowers, but when they appear in large numbers, they transform the woodland floor into something quite special. If you enjoy peaceful wooden walks, historic landscapes and spring flowers, Wallington is definitely worth a visit. Every season here offers something different, from spring blossoms to summer greenery to autumn colours and winter stillness. As the snowdrops quietly signal the arrival of spring, it feels like the landscape is slowly waking up again after the colder months. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and consider subscribing. It will help the channel grow. Take care of yourselves and I'll see you on the next one. Please enjoy the remaining footage of Wallington.